Yeah, we're gonna get started in a minute, you guys. Just before I get started, know what I'm saying? Hold on one second. Hey, before I get started, you guys, remember we're gonna get into it. Hold on. Let me see if I can post a link on here real quick. One second. Okay, so I just posted the link. If you guys want to go purchase my books any type of way, I just posted the link to all my books on Amazon, right? So I wrote two books, you guys. So I wrote two books right here. I wrote a guide on how to lead leaders, and then I wrote uh, growing up in the army right here, you guys. So this book right here, growing up in the army, this is just basically my story. You know what I'm saying? All the way up until I say about 5 years in the army. So that's what I wrote, you guys. So if you guys want to check out these books right here, just go to the comment section and then look at the and then search for it. And also, you guys, I have the website up soon. Developing my website, so you guys want to you guys want to check out the merch. I also have merch, you guys. So if you want to check out the merch, uh, you can. It's these right here. I got the sweaters right here. The sweaters say soldier on them. I got the army green, and then I got the uh the the I guess tan color. It's a tan color with the American flag written soldier on there. So I got both of those. Both of those gonna be up on the website soon, and so you guys can check that out. But we're gonna go ahead and get into our topic for the day, you guys. So the topic for the day is you have to swallow your pride in the army, right? So me, when I first came in, I had a lot of pride. Uh, and I would say pride as in like a bad thing, like far as like not having respect for authority in certain type of ways. So in the army, you guys, of course, it's always going to be somebody who outranks you. You know, it's always going to be somebody who basically your supervisor or whatever. But you got to show respect, and you got to swallow your pride in order to show that respect. So when I first came in, you guys, I went to basic training, and I did when I was going through basic training, they had like a activity to where like we had to basically rappel a rope, right? So once we rappeled that rope, uh, we had to like get in line to get set up to go down the little thing or whatever. So as I'm in line, you know what I'm saying, I see all the other soldiers in front of me. You know, they are getting ready to go down this tower or whatever, and they're getting ready. So as they going through, I hear them saying, "Yes, Sergeant, no, Sergeant, yes, Sergeant, no, Sergeant." And to me, that was kind of crazy. Like I just felt weird about. I knew I was new to the army. You know what I mean? I didn't know all the lingo. I didn't know everything that they would be saying and stuff like that. So when I got to the front of the line, you guys, it was my turn to go, right? And the guy was hooking up my ropes or whatever, and I guess he was wait, and I was just saying yes, like with a kind of almost with an attitude. So as I'm saying yes or whatever, he noticed that I didn't want to say sergeant. He noticed that I didn't want to call him by his rank. So after he took notice of that, he sent me to my first sergeant. You know what I mean? So that was my first incident on having pride in the Army. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie, I still deal with it from time to time. But I'm still working my way through it. You know what I mean? And that's for I would say that's for any man, you guys. You know what I'm saying? Any grown man, they gonna have a certain amount of pride as to where like how much respect they show to a superior. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I don't think no grown man wants to basically, I wouldn't say bow down, but I would say like, I don't know, just swallow their pride. You know what I mean? No grown man wants to do that at the end of the day. It's hard for a prideful man to do that. So in the Army, you have to learn how to do that. You know what I mean? It don't make you less of a man just by swallowing your pride. You know what I mean? It actually makes you a stronger man, a better man when you swallow your pride, you guys. So even when certain superiors may text me, it's just common courtesy to greet them by their ranks. It's common courtesy to salute officers when when you on base or whatever and in uniform. You know what I mean? These are things that certain people, including myself, I still have problems with to this day. But every time I see an officer, right? Every time I see an officer and I'm walking past an officer, of course, it's that big, it's a horse pill for me to swallow to salute them. You know what I mean? But I had to adapt to it and I have to keep going. You know what I mean? And I have to make sure I render that salute and make sure it's not a regular salute. You know what I mean? Be prideful in your salute. You know what I mean? But that's just another example on the different ways I had to swallow my pride in the Army, you guys. You know what I mean? And I still deal with it. I still swallow them pills every day. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's a lot of different things that ties into swallowing your pride in the Army. You know what I mean? Even when you talking to an NCO or even talking to officers, a lot of people don't know. See, a lot of people know, but they just don't do. When you talking to an officer, you even supposed to be a position of attention when you're talking to them. You know what I mean? But I barely see that. I rarely see that. And I think the reason I rarely see that is because a lot of people got pride. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't want to stand there at attention to talk to another person or talk to another man or woman. They think that they are mentally inferior to these people. You know what I mean? But that don't mean you're mentally inferior to anyone, you guys. The ranks in the Army is exactly what it is. It's just rank. You know what I mean? And you have to respect it. But that you're in rank wise, you are inferior to them, but that don't make them a better person than you. So if you join the Army, you guys, you have to know that you're going to have to swallow your pride and do these types of things if you want to make it a career. So yeah, and that's not in the Army, that's in life in general. You're going to always have to swallow your pride when it comes to certain things. You can't be prideful. Like me, just a example on how I'm prideful in other ways. You know what I mean? I'm prideful in ways where I don't like asking people for things. You know what I mean? Because I got that pride and I feel like I can do it on my own. You know what I'm saying? It may be a 3 or 4 man job. You know what I'm saying? But me having so much pride, I just come up with something in my mind that I can do it by myself. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that I might need help, I still try to do it by myself. You know what I'm saying? But it's just that pride that I got, that saying that I don't want to ask for help, or I don't want to, you know what I'm saying, reach out to somebody who can help me. That's just another example of just having pride, you guys. But I'm speaking as an NCO and also speaking for just people in general that's in the military. You know what I'm saying? Other officers, I say, if you're a second lieutenant, and you going to talk and you're talking to a major, you still supposed to stand in a position of attention. You know, if you're a junior soldier or a junior NCO and you're going to talk to anybody that outranks you, you're supposed to go to parade rest. That's just how it is in the Army. You know what I mean? But we have pride, you guys, and we don't always want to do these things. But this is what you have to do if you want to have a career in the Army. You know what I mean? You have to be respectful. You know what I'm saying? I had another incident, you guys, where I went to I'm a supply sergeant, so I had to go to another unit to conduct a lateral transfer. A lot of people don't know what a lateral transfer is. So a lateral transfer is just when we transfer an equipment to a different unit or whatever. So I went to this unit and me being so prideful, walked in like I didn't have to. I walked in as if it was a regular place, like I was just walking into a store. But when you go in different units, you guys, you want to be mindful that you are walking into another unit where it's people that more than likely it's going to be somebody there that outranks you. It's going to be somebody there who may be paying attention to the things that you're not paying attention of, or you got people that may be looking for people who think they back on the block, as they said in the Army. What I mean by back on the block is you think you are not in the Army. You know what I mean? You think you can do whatever, you know what I mean? And not use customs and courtesies. So back to what I was saying. So I walked in this building, not thinking about no type of customs and courtesies, just think everybody's supposed to be like, you know, relatable, and they not going to be paying attention to stuff like that. So I walked in, walked up to this warrant officer. She was a warrant officer, and she was sitting down at her desk or whatever. And I was talking to her. I want to say I said, "Thank you, ma'am," or something like that, but I can't remember exactly what I said. But I was telling her about the equipment that we need to bring to their unit or whatever, right? So I explained it to her. She was like, "What unit you in?" and stuff like that. I was just talking to her just like a normal conversation. Even she was acting normal. She ain't say nothing to me about no customs and courtesies. She ain't correct me about how I was talking or anything. So after she asked me for my email, I think. So I was like, I gave her my email and she was typing on the computer. And as I walked out, she was like, "Okay, I'll email it to you," or whatever. So when I got back to my unit, you guys, she sent the email to my commander saying that I was being disrespectful, blah, blah, blah. Just like a negative email to my commander, basically explaining how she thought I was being disrespectful. You know what I mean? So I got back to the unit. My commander came to me and was like, "This chief warrant officer just sent them email saying that you was disrespectful. You didn't do nothing. You was just talking disrespectful." But in my mind, I know for a fact I wasn't being disrespectful, but I also wasn't doing all the customs and courtesies that I should have been doing. You know what I mean? I was talking to her like she was a normal person. But sometimes it's some leaders that'll help you get away with this, you guys. But it's some leaders that pay attention and they are, I wouldn't say assholes about it or nothing like that, but I just say it's people who really are waiting for you to go to parade rest. It's people that's waiting for you to go to a position of attention. It's people that are waiting for you to render that salute or whatever it may be. And you have to do it. You know what I mean? And if you don't do it, they can, and they are not wrong for going to your leadership and telling them that you are being disrespectful or you are not, you know what I mean? You're not respecting a superior person or whatever. So she wasn't wrong at all. You know what I mean? When I'm thinking about how I was acting in her office, just coming in there talking to her like, you know what I mean? Like she was just a normal person. You know what I mean? She had every right to feel like you know what I mean? He was being disrespectful or whatever. I didn't feel like I was being disrespectful, but you got people in the Army who think you are being disrespectful by not going to parade rest, not calling them by their rank, you guys. So that's just what I wanted to talk about today. Just while you have to leave your pride at the door in the Army, you guys. And I'm not saying be a robot. You know what I mean? I'm not saying, I was talking to one of my first sergeants at one point in time, and I told him, I was like, I don't want to feel like a robot in the Army, first sergeant. You know what I mean? I don't want to feel like I got to go to parade rest, position of attention. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to feel like that in my workplace. And you don't have to feel like that. But at the same time, you want to make sure you're showing enough respect to people. You know what I mean? You don't want to get too comfortable. You know what I mean? Even at a board, you know what I mean? I had experiences when I walked inside of a board. It was actually my E6 board. You know what I mean? So I walked in the board, you know what I mean? Did everything I was supposed to do, sat down, answered all the questions, but one of the first sergeants that was on the board told me that I was too relaxed. You know what I mean? When you sit down in a board, you're supposed to sit at a position of attention, meaning your back's supposed to be straight, your hand's supposed to be straight on your lap, right? But he felt as if I was being too comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And I can see how he can say that, but me, that's that pride, you guys. You know what I mean? I knew I was going to pass the board. You know what I mean? I knew I was going to come in and do my thing. But at the same time, you cannot get too comfortable around superiors. It's always the setting. You know what I mean? And I heard my sergeant major say one time, she was giving a speech to the unit or whatever. She was giving a speech, and she was like, don't be scared to challenge superior leaders. You know what I mean? So if you think a sergeant major or a colonel or anybody who's outranks you, if you think they are wrong about something, don't be scared to speak up and tell them that, sir, that's not right. Or sergeant major, that's not right. You know what I mean? That's one thing how you can use your pride to, but in the right way. Don't be rude about it. You know what I'm saying? Don't be rude about correcting them, or don't be eager to correct your colonel or your sergeant major. But like, if you see something that's they're doing is not right, just, hey, sergeant major, I think we should do it like this, or I don't think, you know what I mean? Just be tactful about it. You know what I mean? Don't just walk around thinking you can just talk to your sergeant major any type of way. So that's one of the tactics I was using. I remember when she said that when I was sitting in the board. So I remember it came to my mind because she was the president of the board. She was the president of the board at that time, and she was asking me questions. And one of the questions she asked me didn't make sense, or it was something that didn't make sense or something like that. And I kind of, to me, I'm gonna be honest, you guys, like, I was rude in that board, man. I was rude. You know what I'm saying? Like, she said something, and I was like, I corrected her some type of way. I forgot what I did. But in my mind, I'm thinking about what she told me, or what she told the unit, that don't hesitate when you think sergeant major or anybody is wrong. Don't hesitate to correct them. But you guys, it always go back to how you correct a person. You know what I'm saying? Don't have too much, you know what I mean? It's always a way you can do it. So me, I don't think I did it the right way, but she still respected it at the end of the day, because she still passed me. She still gave me my P status to be an E6. But after I left out that board, you guys, she told, well, no, in the board, I say towards the end, she was like, because one of the first sergeants was like, I noticed a lot of back and forth with you in the sergeant major. One of the first sergeants was like, you had a lot of back and forth, like you could just go back and forth with the sergeant major. And he was absolutely right. You know what I mean? But in my mind, I'm thinking like, I don't care if she's a sergeant major. You know what I'm saying? If she's saying something that don't make sense, I'm gonna call it out. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm thinking in my mind. But like I said, it's always a way to do things. You know what I'm saying? And it's also the setting, you guys. So in a board setting, you have to be tactful about your responses and just how you are conducting yourself. So, but like I was said, I was just too comfortable in the board. I just knew I was gonna rock it or whatever. But at the same time, I could have paid more attention to how I conducted myself in the board. You know what I'm saying? Rendering the proper customs and courtesies. Yeah, so that's just another thing about pride, you guys. You know what I'm saying? You can't have a lot of pride in the army. Well, you can have pride, but just know when to display it. You know what I mean? Know when to swallow it, and it's very important to know when to swallow it because some people they get real comfortable. The basic stuff that you have to do to be successful. So, uh, and that's just one of the things that you have to do to be successful. Even when you texting a superior, you guys. Even when you texting a peer, you know what I mean. Uh, it's just the right thing to do to make sure that peer rank is spelled correctly. Make sure it's the correct rank for the second thing. You know what I mean? You don't want to be calling. And I'm gonna be honest, you guys. When I'm texting a first sergeant, or when I'm texting of course, when I'm texting an officer, is always sir, ma'am, right? But if you texting a NCO, make sure you spell their name, spell their rank correctly. You know what I mean? I don't know about you guys, but me, when somebody texts me staff sergeant and they got all the letters lowercase, that kind of, you know what I'm saying? That kind of irks me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll never text a staff sergeant or a sergeant, nobody, nobody in the army. I'll never text them with the letters lowercase in their rank. It's supposed to be all capital letters when you are addressing people. You know what I'm saying? And of course, and if it's an officer or a ma'am, you address them, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. You know what I mean? But yeah, you guys. So that's just some of my experiences that I had in the army. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with swallowing pride. You know, you're an NCO. You know what I mean? You real prideful. You know what I mean? You got to learn. You got to get used to swallowing that pill. You know what I'm saying? That pride pill. You know, when you see that officer, you walking down the street, you see that officer, get ready to swallow that pill because you got to render that salute. You know what I mean? And I've been around, I've been in incidents to where I probably, I don't know, probably didn't salute on time or probably was paying attention to something else. And it's certain officers that call you out on that. You know what I mean? And then when they do call you out on that, you guys don't go back and forth with them. You know what I mean? Just correct yourself, render the salute, and keep on moving. You know what I mean? NCO taught me that. You know what I mean? If you do get called out, somebody say, "Hey, you didn't salute me," or something like that. Just go to position of attention, salute, and then go on about your business. You know what I mean? Don't go back and forth saying, "I didn't see you," or this, that. You know what I mean? Just go ahead and correct yourself and keep it moving. Yeah, man. And when you talking to an NCO, you talking to a superior. I don't care if they come off as your friend. If they outrank you, man, you got to go to parade rest, and you got to wait till they tell you to relax. You know what I mean? That's how it's supposed to be done. Don't just walk up to any NCO thinking you can just talk to him like he your homeboy, a homegirl. You know what I'm saying? Because it's people in the army that pay attention to stuff like that, and they waiting on you to be too comfortable. They waiting on you to be too comfortable so they can call you disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? And that's just my rundown on the stuff, you guys. It's my rundown on swallowing your pride. Don't let it be uh the death of you. Don't let your pride be the death of you. You know what I'm saying? Don't let your pride hold you back. Because sometimes your pride will hold you back, you guys. You know what I'm saying? It'll keep you stagnant. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to conform or adapt to what's going on around you. You know what I mean? Uh, Even when you're working in groups, you know what I'm saying? Some people can be too prideful about working with a team. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So that's all I got today for you guys, man. Just learn to swallow your pride. You know what I mean? I know it's uncomfortable. I know it's uncomfortable, but it makes you a better person when you learn how to do it. So like I said, you guys, if you guys want to check out my books, I got the links in the comment section. You guys want to purchase any of my merch, which I showed you guys earlier. Like I said, these are the tan shirts right here with the American flag printed on there. And I also got the army green right here. Right here. So I got these in hoodies and sweatshirts, you guys. So they're going to be up on my website soon. I'm going to get the website going and you guys just go check it out. And I'll see you guys next time.